Howdy, Homo sapiens. I want to talk about black and white versus gray thinking. So let's define black and white thinking. Black and white thinking is thinking in simple absolutes. Good or bad, always or never, all or none, best or worst. Thinking in dichotomies, thinking in extremes. Thinking in shades of gray, on the other hand, is thinking and drawing conclusions that are more nuanced, more complex, and therefore require more examination, more unpacking. It's using an intellectual scalpel rather than an axe. The thing is, we're naturally drawn towards black and white thinking. We like dichotomies. We like choices to be simple and concise. We like categories and moral issues to be clear. It seems to assure us that our conclusions are more certain. It also assures us that we are right and others are wrong, straight up. For instance, it's easier for us to file away the conclusion that a practice is always wrong than that it is wrong, except for circumstances A, D, and X, but not B or Z. Or concluding that a group is totally toxic, except for John, Susan, Dion, and Jess. Gray thinking takes effort and patience, and more words to express belief. It can be cumbersome. Now, I do black and white all the time. I wrote something yesterday passionately expressing my opinion and used the words always and never many times. But it felt so right. Emotionally, we're strongly drawn towards black and white thinking because it fits well with strong feelings of anger and fear. Feelings that we want to express with simple, definitive statements. Details slow us down. Exceptions complicate things. Degrees muddy the water. We love to say, that is wrong, or that is the right thing to do. It feels so much better than saying, man, that is usually wrong, or that is, in most cases, the right thing to do. It's like holding in a sneeze. Nuance is a drag. It's a buzzkill, a party pooper. It drains our certainty and chips away at our self-assuredness. And this is why when we're in a moment of passion, we completely toss it aside and go for straight black and white. Have you ever had a situation with a partner or a friend where they're telling you about a person they're furious with, maybe another friend or a coworker, or maybe just someone at the supermarket? As you're listening, trying to be supportive, you start to realize that they might have missed something crucial, that the other person might not actually be in the wrong as your friend or partner thought. I've learned the hard way that the last thing you should try to do is introduce nuance into the scenario. Like, are you sure she meant that the way you interpreted it? No. They don't want nuance. They want to feel right, and they want to be told that they're right. When we feel passionate, we don't like any complexity, nuance, or gray interpretation of the situation. This tendency in us creates a very strong correlation between how passionate or extreme a belief is and how black and white the belief is. This is why passion is a liability to clear thinking. When you talk to someone who feels very strongly about a belief, you might notice that they speak in absolutes, in definitive statements of right or wrong, good or evil. They use loaded moral terminology and confine everyone into one of two categories. You are either a patriot or traitor, or you are either racist or anti-racist. No middle ground, no exceptions, no degrees, no gray. You might have noticed during angry protests that slogans used and things written on signs are very black and white, morally simplistic messages. The problem is presented as simply wrong, and their solution is presented as simply right. No complexity, no nuance. Now, that would be fine, except for the fact that most of our biggest problems are complex, with lots of history, variables, and moving parts. And from what we can see through history, complex problems are rarely solved with simple solutions, despite what politicians try to sell us when they're running for office. The thing is, it's harder to be passionate about things with moral complexities. This leads to another phenomenon. The fact that we will never see people with nuanced beliefs out marching and shouting in the streets. Their nuanced assessment of the issue has given them pause and put the brakes on their passion. This is why the more passionate people really don't like the more nuanced people, because their damn nuance costs the cause support. It slows everything down. It complicates things. In their words, you are either for us or against us. Again, no middle ground. Now, clearly not all scenarios are gray. Some are much closer to black and white. For instance, killing innocent children is always wrong. It's hard to find any gray in that, any exceptions. Well, I mean, you could say that if killing one innocent child saves the life of 100 innocent children, then from a utilitarian perspective... So how do you know if your beliefs are more black and white? Take inventory of your beliefs. Examine a belief and consider how you would explain it to a stranger that knew nothing of the issue, perhaps a child that is just learning about it. If your belief can easily be summarized by slogans, bumper stickers, or simple talking points, you might be thinking in black and white on those issues anyways. The fact is, the world is complex. History is complex. People are very complex. There are a lot of variables, degrees, and exceptions. If something is true 90% of the time, it's still untrue 10% of the time. Sure, that won't make a very good slogan or chant, but it has to be acknowledged. Why? Because it is true. And truth is rarely as simple as we like to make it. Notice how I didn't say never as simple. Our perception of reality should be as precise as we can make it to ensure its accuracy. It takes effort, it takes patience, and we often have to let go of some of our cherished passion and self-righteousness in the pursuit of truth. But seeing the world clearly has to be our first and most important goal. If we can't do that, we can't solve any problems. And we have a lot of problems to solve as a society. So take the time, acknowledge the exceptions, define the degrees, be precise. It's worth it. But what about you? Are there beliefs that you hold that you think are black and white, or others that are more nuanced? Let me know in the comments. But keep in mind, if you write a more nuanced opinion, the character limit is 9,999. FYI. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, stay doubtful. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please drop a like. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. There's a lot more to explore.